I found a Sephora gift card in one of my office drawers a few months back, and it's just been burning a hole in my wallet ever since. So I decided to come to Sephora and see if they have my shade in the Makeup by Mario foundation. Honestly, nothing's really been released that I've been dying to try that I wanted to waste the gift card on, but I've been wanting a new foundation, and just the description of it sounds like something that's right up my alley. So I'm gonna look at that. I miss filming, and I know I've seen several comments on Instagram and like DMs that are like, are you done with YouTube? Honestly, I just felt like I had to take a step back. I don't know, it just seems like everything now is like such fast content. I mean, even my attention span, which I hate that I'm turning that way. That's why I've been like not even forcing myself, because I love to read, but instead of like scrolling on my phone at night on TikTok or Instagram, I've been reading instead. I've already read 2 books this month, and I think it's like the 9th or the 10th. So I'm doing good. Here's my thing. I've realized, I don't even know if I'm looking in the right camera hole. I don't know if it's that one or that one. I guess I'll figure it out when I edit. I've realized like I'll make excuses to not film. Like for instance, right now I've been putting it off because I'm like, well, I really need to do my nails because like nobody wants to see butt naked nails on video. But I'm like, no, Dana, that's more of like a you problem than other people. Like other people don't notice that sort of stuff, but then I notice it, and then it's all I can notice like the entire time while editing, to where I'll just scrap the footage, which is ridiculous. That's such a waste of time to film all of that and be like, no, I hate my nails, so I'm not going to use it. But that's how my brain works. We're gonna go into Sephora. I'm gonna take you along. Hopefully they have my shade, see what else there is. And then Keegan wants Kava. There's a Kava right here which is right by Trader Joe. So I may swing into Trader Joe's as well. What the actual shit? I do not remember Kava being that expensive. I got him an extra scoop of veggies, and it was $19 for a bowl. I'm like, are you kidding me? I could have made that cheaper at home, but it's what he wanted, so whatever. Do a super quick Trader Joe's haul. Honestly, all I needed from there was some bread. Landon likes this sourdough for lunch. And then, have you guys seen people talking about tart cherry juice, like 100% red tart cherry juice to help you fall asleep? I don't really like to take melatonin constantly. Like I really only do it whenever I cannot sleep for like days and days and days. I mean, I eventually get to sleep, but I'll be up until like 2 or 3 in the morning. But I've been pretty good lately about only staying up until like midnight to 1. But I heard that's supposed to help you just like relax and fall asleep. I've tried sleepy time tea and it doesn't do much for me. I'm starving because it's 1:42. Keegan's probably like, what the hell? I thought you were just getting a foundation and getting Kava and coming home, but I've been gone for like an hour and a half. So I grabbed myself a protein bar. This is the Think High Protein Bar in Brownie Crunch. My friend Melissa said this is her favorite flavor. And then we're both always telling each other what we love from Trader Joe's. And she said this pizza is actually super good. The cheese and tomato. I used to love the mushroom one, but I swear it changed. It's like, it tastes like cardboard now. It doesn't really taste as good as it used to. So yeah, that's just like a quick random lunch Keegan and I can have one day with a salad. Okay, I have to go home now because I'm sure Keegan is starving. Let's try this bar really quick though. Do you ever have like those ugly days where you just feel like, even after putting on makeup, you just feel blah? I'm having one of those days. It's so. Not the best protein bar I've had. I'm so picky. Like if I can even just taste a little bit of that protein taste, I'm just like, ugh. Whoa, that was a doozy of a fall, sorry. This doesn't have a super strong protein taste, but I can taste it a little bit. It's so. I'm not obsessed. I'm gonna eat it because I'm starving, but probably wouldn't buy it again. Okay, so after another bite of the protein bar, it was just a no-go for me. So I saved the other half for Landon. I got home and decided I wanted some natto and rice instead. If you've never had it before, it's fermented soybeans. It's pungent, but it's just so freaking good. And it's good for you. Just a little bit of sesame oil to my rice. And you even have an Asian mom if she doesn't reuse every glass, bottle, and jar in sight. I'm pretty sure this was once a Frank's buffalo sauce bottle. Okay, this is a look, but I'm just letting my bangs set into place. If you guys are curious, I did share, well, no, I guess it'll be expired now. So maybe in my next video, I'll share the curling iron and just like the tools that I've been loving lately. But yeah, that's what's currently going on. Now let's get into what I got from Sephora, along with one product that I finally got at Target. It's been available on Ulta online, but I really wanted to see the shades in person just because with e.l.f., I feel like the online swatches are really hard to tell and everything always looks very pink or very yellow. The online picture, to me, 3 looked way more yellow than how it looks in person, but maybe it'll swatch really warm, not quite sure. I'm not gonna use it today just because I really wanna be able to see how the foundation performs just with a typical primer. So from Sephora, I actually ended up getting 2 foundations. First up, we have the Makeup by Mario. What is this even called? Surreal Skin Foundation. I got mine in the shade 11N, just very simple packaging. And then after just going through and swatching other foundations, this one I know has been like viral on TikTok, everywhere, but originally I just wasn't interested because the reviews that I saw from Haus Labs previously were just kind of, but this foundation looks stunning on everyone, and when I swatched it, honestly, this impressed me like just from swatches. For the type of foundation and finish that I like, this was more up my alley, but I'm gonna save this for another video. This is the Haus Labs Triclone Skyne. It's been a while. Skin Tech Foundation, and this one is in the shade 210 Light Medium Neutral. I have not self-tanned in months, so I just went with the shades that looked closest to my actual skin tone. Another product that I really want to get is the Milk, I forget what it's called, something concealer, the one that's in the little bottle. I swatched that and that looked amazing as well. And then I grabbed one eyeshadow, definitely a product that I do not need. I was standing there and one of the employees was pointing out a couple of shadows for this girl to make a palette, and she swatched this and was saying how it's just her favorite all over one and done lid shade. The swatch on her hand was so gorgeous that I immediately scooped it up. It was only $9. It's one of the Colorful Metal Effect Sephora brand shadows in the shade 08 Choc. This just looked so beautiful. Like first she did a heavy swatch and then she smeared it out, and like both ways looked stunning. So I think I'm gonna wear this all over my lids today as well. So we'll test this out later. For primer, I just wanna go in with something minimal. I recently got this from Lawless. I've been using it for the last like week and a half, and I have been liking it. It's the Lawless Set the Stage Hydrating and Smoothing Primer Serum. I love the lip, like the overnight lip mask, as well as just like the lip oils from them. I've gone through an entire one of the cherry vanilla. It's just, oh, such an amazing lip oil. So this just goes on like a typical serum. I wouldn't say it's overly smoothing. Like I have other primers that I find to be way more blurring, but I just really like the hydration factor of this one. There is a brush that comes with this foundation. I did not purchase it just because I have so many brushes, sponges, I didn't feel the need. The brush that I'm gonna try with it today is the Smashbox Blurring Foundation Brush. I'm sure if you're on TikTok, Instagram Reels, you've already seen this foundation, but if you look up close, you can see all these little light particles in it. And instantly when I saw that, the first foundation that came to mind is the IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better foundation. I remember when this first came out, so many people who are more on like the normal oily side are like, why do I want glitter in my foundation? Yet Makeup by Mario comes out with something similar and everyone's raving about it. So I'm just like, huh, I don't know. I'm not saying the formula because I haven't used this one yet, but just the way that they look in the bottle reminds me a lot of each other. I'm gonna do one full pump and see how far that takes me. I always start on this side out of habit, but I wanna start on this side where I have more like sunspots and freckles, just so we can really see the coverage that we're gonna get. So I'm just going to do a couple of dots. It's really thin, which I like. Oh, it's already drying down a little bit flatter than what I had expected. There's still like a luminous glow to it. Feels really nice and lightweight. I would say it's giving it medium coverage. I'm not quite sure if it's buildable yet, but it does seem to cover all the redness, but still allow freckles to peek through. It did cover that sunspot up some. You can still see it a bit. I think when it comes to picking the shade, I did pretty good. It seems to be blending out and matching. I let it sit on my hand in store for a while to make sure it didn't oxidize, and it seemed to have stayed the same color on my hand, so hopefully it does the same on my face. Okay, so that is one layer with the brush. I can definitely tell a difference. It still looks like skin, but it just really evened everything out. It does have a nice, it's not like overly luminous. I definitely have other foundations that are way more glowy, but it does have a nice luminous finish to it. It's just very skin-like. I think that's a good way to describe it. Let's go ahead and go in with one more layer, but not all over. I'm just gonna kind of focus on the areas that I just feel like I need a little bit more coverage. I don't mind freckles, but like I don't like this dark spot here. And then I just feel like I have a little bit more redness on my chin. That ended up being pretty much the whole pump. I may have been able to let it spread out further if I would have went in with like a less dense brush. This brush isn't super firm, but I mean, it is pretty dense. Okay, so that's still one layer with just like an extra little dose right there. And I actually think I'm gonna stop right there just because I'm still gonna go in with a cream bronzer, a concealer, but so far so good. I love the way that it feels on my skin. It's already starting to dry down slightly. There still is a bit of tackiness, but not much. but it doesn't really seem like the luminosity has faded down at all. So that is something that I love. I hate when foundations start off really dewy and you're like, oh my God, this is gonna be great and glowy. But then like 5 minutes later, it's just flat, like almost like a matte finish. This looks like it's just keeping that natural skin glow. Not overly like, ooh, greasy looking, but just healthy, supple skin. Another thing that I wanna note is that the control of the pump is really nice. There's some foundations out there, for instance, this Haus Labs one, I noticed all the testers in Sephora, I would try to go in with the tiniest bit and it would just came like oozing out. This one seems to have a really nice controlled pump. I actually really do like applying this with a brush though. I still do want to try it with a sponge, but I think I'll save that for another day. I'm sure I'll come back with a full review later. This was more of just like a quick try on, testing it, demoing the product for you. Okay, so here is my face with a full application. That was about, I say, 1.25, not even 2 full layers, just because I didn't apply 2 all over my face, but I'm very happy with both the finish and the coverage. A few claims of the formula. It says it's a breathable, luminous foundation. I agree with both of those. Effortlessly builds and blends to illuminate the complexion with customizable long-wearing coverage. I'll have to come back to report about the long-wear coverage part. It's really hydrating because of the grapeseed oil and vegetable squalene. Definitely feels really hydrating on the skin, and it's still looking luminous, and I would say it's pretty much dried down completely. There's a very, very light bit of tackiness, but it's nothing that feels uncomfortable or something that's going to shift and move around a ton. So it does say on here if you want more of a natural coverage, you can apply it with your fingers, but the way that they recommend is with their Surreal Foundation F4 brush. Honestly, I was really happy with this one from Smashbox. Wow, brain fart. But even if you just have like an e.l.f. foundation brush, any foundation brush, fingers, sponge, it seems like it's gonna, well, I can't say sponge yet. I did tap some out with my finger and that seemed to work great. But I will say with the brush, I'm really loving the finish of this. Just that nice luminous skin-like glow that it has. It kind of gives me the look of like when you just get a hydrofacial. You know how your face just looks like glowy but natural? This doesn't really look like I have a ton of makeup on. It just looks healthy. So far so good. Okay, so now finally for this eyeshadow that I just jabbed my thumb into, it has a slight like squishy feel to it. Not as like moussey as the ColourPop shadows, just because it is like a powder, but it's so creamy. It's definitely just like a wet shine shadow. I just loved the color of this. It's more of like a plummy taupey chocolate instead of just like a straight up brown. But the swatch she had was just incredible, and it's definitely not disappointing. Okay, so I'm just gonna take the edges and lightly buff it out. I'm gonna do one more layer, and for this one, I'm just going to tap, and I'm not really gonna like smear it out, just to intensify the pigmentation some. Oh, I love it. That is so pretty. It seriously performs like a high-end shadow. So if you're looking for a new shadow to add to your collection, just check out more of these metal effects if you're not into this particular shade. There were some really pretty like golds. I want to say there was like a true brown and maybe like a red tone, like a burgundy as well. I'll have to go back on the site and check, but seriously worth checking out. As for the foundation, like I said, later this week I'll come back and do like final review on the longevity and everything, but from first impressions, I'm seriously so impressed. Everything that I love about a foundation, this has. It's dewy, it's lightweight, it just still skin-like. There's no like heavy mask feeling to it. Honestly, it doesn't even feel like I have any foundation on, which that's always an A+ in my book. But later this week, I will be trying out the Triclone Skin Tech Foundation. I'm so excited for this because in store, the way that it's swatched, it almost had this like gel-like pillowy effect, but while still being lightweight and just ultra dewy. I know I'm late, but whatever. I don't care. I'm still excited, even for the e.l.f. one. Also, another love that I have been really into lately is this ring from Miranda Fry. I have an ongoing coupon code with them. It's just Danna that gives you 10% off. Sometimes I get 15% off, but it's always free shipping in the US. Pretty much, well, no, this is Amazon. I'll link it down below. But my bracelets, my rings, my earrings, all of that, Miranda Fry. Per usual. I really need to finish editing, but I also want to finish this episode of Singles Inferno. I have my smoothie. I also need to enter a book into my reading log. I want to keep better track of it this year. But yeah, if you guys have any other show recommendations, leave them down below. I watched Glory. If you haven't watched it yet, it's so good. It's intense, but Oh my God, I loved it. This is my current show. Keegan and I have also been wrapping up Ginny and Georgia season 2, so if you have any other recommendations, let me know. So the book that I'm currently reading is Pretty Little Wife by Darby Kane. I don't think I've ever read anything by her so far, but several of you guys had recommended it, so I was like, why not? The other books that I've read so far, Getaway, it started so strong, but I ended up only giving it 3 stars. The Island, 4 stars. But keep in mind, those ratings, like for the genre that it is, clearly I've read books that are like way better, but for the thriller genre, which I've been really into right now, definitely 4 stars. It's going to be a show on Hulu soon too. So stoked for that. But yeah, that's it for today. Thanks so much for hanging out, and I will see you guys later this week. Bye.